This is the Surly Grognards for April 9th, 2019. This is Peter Bowman, and as always, I'm joined by my good friend and co-host, Eric Carlson. How are you doing tonight, Eric?
I'm doing all right.
Excellent. So, we got an email from Bardic DM. He sort of restated a bunch of questions he'd sent in to us, show topic suggestions, a few brainstorming ideas, which we won't get to tonight, obviously. And he did reply to our little sort of comments about the setting last week's setting. All of which we will go over in a moment. I do want to touch on a little bit before we start one of our classic things of what have we been up to gaming wise.
Oh, sure.
Just get a little. Have you been up to anything of interest, Eric? Is my question. Anything new? Anything different?
Not particularly. The Star Wars game is happening. It's on a brief hiatus as conventions and family stuff happen. So
okay, fair enough.
Like a week or two. So
aha, cool.
Which is sort of exactly where you finished off the last which is good timing because we just finished off the last arc. So
that is a good time. That is a good time to break.
Yes,
I agree. I've really not been up to much of anything myself. There's something we should talk about.
What was that?
Though we will have to be non-spoilery.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Something that happened that came out last week. We should talk about The Tick season 2.
Oh, I thought you were going to say something ridiculous instead of the obvious thing.
but The Tick. We should talk about The Tick.
Well, clearly, but I thought you were going to do something ridiculous.
Why would you think that?
I briefly forgot which one of us was which.
Ah, fair enough. You're the absurdist, I'm the straight man.
This is true.
Oh my god. So, yeah, last Friday, the season 2 of The Tick dropped, and Eric and I caught it over the weekend.
Yep.
We won't spoil anything, and we're not going to go into big depth stuff. We may do an episode where we actually sort of knuckle into it a bit. I'd like to do that at some point because it was good.
Lobstercles. I think it's pronounced Lobstercules. It doesn't make any sense. No, it doesn't.
Oh, Lobstercules! It has a character named Lobstercules!
Yes.
They had a super strong humanoid lobster named Lobstercules.
John Hodgson plays a super scientist.
Yep.
I happen to really like him, so I was really happy.
Oh yeah, it was a really, really fun 10-episode run. Again, I don't want to spoil any major plot stuff. It's in the sort of, there is an overarching villain, but they are really behind the scenes for almost the entirety of the season.
Yeah.
And it's really more about. It sort of feels like it's sort of about, I have to rewatch it so I can have a real sort of good sort of be able to really analyze what it's actually about, because it's about something. Like
it's about a few things. It's about a little bit of hero blindness and
mm-hmm.
Chasing your dream may not necessarily be the right thing.
Yep.
And as well as accepting that, other people might also have similar ideals, but doing it in a different way.
Yep.
So,
I mean, there's that. I will say that I appreciate the fact that one of sort of the themes that actually does run through the thing is doing the right thing is the right thing.
Yes. Yes.
That is definitively a thing.
The right motherfucking thing because it's the right motherfucking thing. It may seem complicated at first, but it's not.
Yeah. there's a moment towards the end, and this is not spoiling anything, where the Tick basically just sort of says, when it comes down to it, you basically either choose fear or you choose love, and I say choose love.
Mm.
And it's a holy crap, Tick.
God damn it, Tick. This is not what you're supposed to do.
Except that's what this version of the Tick does.
Yes.
Like, he is still the goofball, weird, kind of insane bundle of energy
Generally dumb as a stump.
But
he's
got this core of just, I mean, he's kind, is like, he's kind and human and genuine, and what he cares about is doing the right thing and helping people.
Yes. Although I just suddenly remembered the whole opening sequence with the, like, Tick, do you know anything about this? Oh, you found another one. Flush.
Yes, they changed the Tick's costume again, and they spent exactly twice as long acknowledging the fact that his costume changed the last time.
Yes.
So this time it was like 10 seconds.
It was enough to do a running gag through the first part of an episode.
Oh, it was good. It was good. But yeah, the show's good. It's still really good. The acting was still good. The core cast were all back. Like, the core cast of of our heroes, the Tick, Arthur, Dot, and Overkill are all back.
Danger Boat.
Danger Boat. And Danger Boat. You're right. I should not forget Danger Boat.
Awesome.
Danger Boat has a bit of a we get some Danger Boat's background.
Yeah.
And Miss Lynch's back. And it continues to be awesome.
It's the most hilarious sidekick.
Edgelord is the best. He dances between raindrops.
Edgelord is hilarious. I love him.
Oh my god, he is the fucking best.
He has nunchucks.
Because of course he does.
Of course he's got nunchucks. It was either that or katana. He didn't have a choice. It was that or the other.
He probably has both. Oh my god, it's so good. But we get to meet a few new superheroes, which is cool.
Yep, we see that other superheroes are a thing, which is really cool.
Supervillain has an existential crisis that could have gone very badly.
Yes. Or rather, could have gone so much worse.
Yeah.
7 billion monkeys boiling in the void.
Yeah.
That's still one of that just cracks me up. Just the sing-song voice with the delivery.
Oh my god. It's just really good. I if you've not seen it yet, if you have Amazon Prime, go watch it on Amazon Prime Video. It's so worth watching. Honestly, in a lot of ways, it's better than the first season just because it knows what it is now.
Yeah. There's no finding its feet.
The first chunk of the first season, there was a bit of finding its feet. And then, basically it hit the halfway point and just sort of said, and now, here we go! But it's really interesting, like, watching the dynamic between Arthur and Dot sort of evolve, because they grow as characters, both of them.
Yes, absolutely.
Hell, Overkill grows as a character again.
Yes. Hug fight.
But yeah, it is good. That is something which we had to talk about.
Yes, it's a great. It's
as
good.
I said, I think we will probably do a proper episode on season 2 at some point.
Yeah, give people a chance to actually watch it.
But yeah, I don't want to do that right now because I want people to go watch it and not be spoiled. It's good. Go watch.
Yes.
All right. So I've not really, but in terms of gaming stuff, I've just been playing old games recently, mostly.
Hmm.
I haven't really done much interesting.
Yeah, I mean, there's my Star Wars game, but mostly like video game wise, I just haven't been playing a lot of video games lately. The city fight map campaign with the 40K crew started last week.
Oh, cool.
Which is mostly just setting up teams and establishing territory.
Cool.
I'm on Team Space Gribbles.
Of course you are.
Technically, we're the red team, but like, it's 2 Gene Solo cult players and a Tyranid player, so we're Team Space Gribbles.
Yeah, you are.
I declared it. No one gainsayed me. We're Team Space Gribbles.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, we did get an email from Bardic DM. Thank you, Bardic DM. First off, he did send us a couple of things on the, as I mentioned, sent us a couple of things about like sort of ideas of things to do in the setting we came up with in the last brainstorming session. I think I want to save those for a little bit till we actually have a few more, so we can actually dedicate some time to them. But if we don't get more by next week, then we'll do them at the beginning of next week's episode.
Sounds like a plan.
Because I don't want it to be too long between the actual brainstorming session and when we talk about people's ideas. For what I like to call obvious reasons. But he did send in a few show topic suggestions, and I think we'll probably spend some time on one of them and then bop into another because I'm not sure how long I'm not sure they're sort of tangentially related, sort of. They both involve villains.
Yes.
And I don't know how much we'll be able to mine out of the first one is what it boils down to. But I do want to touch on it a bit because it's something that I think needs to be talked about, and I don't know if we have talked about it before. So the first one he wanted to talk about was it'd be interesting if we discuss the differences you can see coming up with and running a supervillain campaign, in comparison both to its superhero counterpart and evil campaigns in other sort of other genres of RPG. So part of the problem for this one for me is I've never run a supervillain campaign. I've never run an evil themed tabletop game. I've run sort of amoral games, but not villains.
Yeah. I've played in evil campaigns, not supervillainous campaigns.
Yep.
And basically what it boils down to is the very definition of the so more heroic games are typically reactive in nature.
Yep.
Like gnolls attack the village, the aliens are invading, fighting the invading empire, that sort of thing. They tend to be more reactive. The GM has time to come up with a plot and do stuff. The difference is the players are largely coming up with the plot because evil narratively tends to be more active.
Yep.
They're the aggressors. They're the guys that start shit, that disrupt the status quo for ill, honestly. Like they're the ones that cause all the trouble.
Yep.
Like you're the guys that gather up the orc tribes and smash the kingdom. You're the guys that are trying to take over the world. You're the guys that summon and enslave all of hell to do your evil bidding.
Yeah.
Or you're just the jerk-off space pirates causing trouble in the space lanes.
Yeah.
Not that wasn't our evil campaign at all, no.
I mean, I did run that one, the sci-fi campaign with you guys. That was
sure, but we were hardly evil. We were selfish and irresponsible, but we weren't evil.
You were amoral.
Yes,
you were space pirates, but you didn't get to do as much.
Have something resembling scruples.
Yes, at least some of you.
I don't think any of us got into slaving or trafficking in sapient meat, which were available options.
The former definitively.
Yeah.
The latter less so.
As soon as the Ka Empire showed up, we could have started.
Oh, you're right. Well, that was, when Chris took over. Right, yeah.
That was when Chris took over, yeah.
Yeah, different part of the galaxy, so yeah.
Yep. Because we noped the fuck out of Spider Town.
What? It would have been fine. Nothing bad would have happened to you guys.
Yeah, Peter decided to run Twilight Zone by way of the village with giant space spiders, and we're like, nope, we're leaving. Fuck it, nope.
You've just been involved in increasingly complicated psychological experiments, that's all.
Yeah, that totally wouldn't have resulted in us murdering each other. One thing with an evil campaign everyone has to be on board for and prepared for. Someone's going to get killed by another player.
Your typical evil campaign, yeah.
It almost always happens. Someone goes too far and gets taken out for the good of the group.
Yeah.
And that almost always happens.
It's definitively it is something you have to keep in mind that very well might happen. I will say that if you are running a supervillain campaign specifically, my gut feeling is it's going to be even more player driven than
Yes. Like you're whoever's running it has to be damn good at improvisation and have just a folio full of foils for you guys.
Yep.
That was a fair amount of unintentional alliteration there, but
folio full of foils. So
also just like particularly supervillain campaigns, like there are certain supervillains that just don't work well with others.
Yeah, and that's and I will say the loner supervillain is more of a problem than the loner superhero.
Yes. Like Joker and Venom just like those sort of like force of nature villains, for lack of a better term, generally don't get along well with others. Like they'll show up for a little while, but then they'll bite someone's head off or get bored, or when I say bite someone's head off, I don't mean figuratively, I mean literally.
Potentially, yes, depending on the villain. Yeah. Or do something they think is funny.
Or just fuck up everyone's plans because they didn't like the way Bob looked at him that one time.
But the loner supervillain, like, you can work around Wolverine.
Sure.
Like, you present Wolverine with the world is like, the city is in danger. Wolverine will go, "Oh, fine, I'll come help. Sure, no problem." Here's a cool thing.
I just want to state briefly, Batman is the worst loner superhero ever.
Probably, yeah.
He is so bad at being a loner. Just the worst at being the brooding loner. Just, dude, seriously. You have a bat family. Your best friend is Superman, and you hang out all the time.
Yes, because Batman has changed over the years. He just likes to pretend he's a brooding loner.
Yeah, he just likes to pretend he's all brooding and edgelordy and badass.
And totally doesn't trust anyone other than Superman. And probably Wonder Woman.
I totally don't trust you, various Robins.
Or Barbara. Or Commissioner Gordon.
Or Alfred.
But other than that...
core 24 people.
Whereas Wolverine is actually very capable of and quite happy operating on his own.
Yes.
But again, like for a superhero, the loner superhero, you dangle a threat to something that's important, they will show up.
Yeah.
Unless it's a character that really should not be in this campaign. But the loner supervillain, it's we'll dangle this valuable thing that like I've got an idea. I've got this valuable thing that the party will be interested to go after, or they've come up with this sorry plan, and one of the villains goes, "Nah, fuck it, I'm not interested. I'm going to go poison the water supply."
Which is a legitimate thing to do for supervillains, but y'all kind of have to be on board if you're doing the whole evil League of Evil thing.
Yeah. So, like, yeah, that sort of villain is a problem.
Yeah. Like he can totally do the whole like interpersonal conflict. I'm the most evil villain. No, I'm the most evil. Shut up, all of you. I am a super genius. Your intellects are pitiable before mine. Blah 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 blah. That can actually be fun.
Sure.
That kind of like constant like inter-party rivalry as to who's the most badass and evil. Again, you have to have the right party for it. That's a really important.
Oh, you have to have the right group of players specifically.
You absolutely have the right players for that, because otherwise it's going to end up with hurt feelings and broken furniture, and someone's going to end up in the hospital.
So yeah, basically, yeah, Duwani in the chat's right. Don't let Joker join unless someone in the group can is a wizard who can put a geas on him to make him behave.
Because that hasn't been tried. Actually, I have no idea if that's been tried.
I have no idea. I don't
think so.
I was just sort of thinking. I was specifically thinking of the Masters of Evil from the Avengers: Mightiest Heroes.
Right, right.
It's like, how do we bludgeon Wonder Man to working with us? Well, Enchantress basically casts a spell that's keeping him alive. She's going to work for them unless she wants her to cancel the spell. Oh. All right then. I'm working for you guys, I guess. Until the heroes come up with a way to get around it.
The heroes will come up with a way to get around it, because it's in their best interest to help out Wonder Man, because then he'll just fuck off and do whatever.
Unless the long-term goal of the campaign is to piss off Batman, then you can get Joker. You can get Joker, but he won't necessarily be on board for the way you're actually trying to screw with Batman.
Right.
That's the problem with the Joker. He doesn't think the way most villains think.
Now, it doesn't mean Joker isn't going to show up and join the Evil League of Evil for shits and giggles on occasion. I mean,
it's just that he's just not a reliable player character.
Of course, he's the Joker. He's not at all reliable.
Right. Sort of the point. But yeah, I just have trouble. Like, I really have trouble envisioning a long-running supervillain campaign. Okay, there is one way you could do a long-running supervillain campaign. Unfortunately, it's already been done as a comic book series.
Okay.
Thunderbolts.
Yes, you could totally do Thunderbolts, and there's nothing wrong with doing Thunderbolts or Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad's a great way to
I will say Thunderbolts is a better way is a better way to have you guys still be supervillains. And you are not being forced to being good guys. You are pretending to be good guys to further your evil plans.
Yes.
And can do doses of villainy on the side.
Which is just kind of an awesome idea.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Yes, we're totally good guys now. Yep, look at us fighting crime and defeating aliens and stealing magic artifacts when no one's looking. Guess I got lost in the alien attack.
Oopsie. But yeah, no, I mean, and if you want, that's assuming you, of course, want to have the players want to play a supervillain campaign. If they want to play supervillains who are going to redeem themselves eventually campaign, you can start with the Thunderbolts concept and have some of them actually going, hey, this being a hero thing is kind of awesome. Fuck, if anyone finds out who I was.
Right. Or if anyone uncovers what my actual plans were.
Oh boy. Not that totally happened during the Thunderbolts. Nope. Goddamn, Kurt Busiek's good.
Yeah.
Oh god. So yeah, like I'm just not but other than that I have trouble envisioning a long-running supervillain campaign just because you're just gonna run out of things to do.
Eventually you win or everyone's dead is what happens.
Yeah.
Either you win and you take over the world, or everyone's dead. Or like in interdimensional jail with no hope of getting out.
Yeah.
But, like, that's just how it works.
I mean, and I'm sure that for some players you could string a campaign like that along for quite some time. Like,
sure, there are players out there that will get totally into the minutia of running their evil empire and like doing all the crazy stuff of like,
I'm not talking about that, but like,
can I get away with before another rebellion shows up?
I'm not talking about that. Like, not even like getting to the point where you quote one. I'm talking about like the sort of it becomes more of an episodic campaign, and there are players in groups where they are totally down with it just being random villainy of the week. I'm certain there are groups that would be perfectly fine with that, and I'm just not sure how structured a campaign that would end up being is what it boils down to.
Right.
Which is fine. And again, for some groups, that's great. That's exactly what they want. This week, we're going to go do we're going to do villainy thing X, and then villainy thing Y next week, and then Z the next week.
Just always make sure you tell your game master what your cunning plans are.
Yeah,
so he
because
doesn't have to do everything on the spot. Just please, for the sake of your game master, come up with your plans at least a week ahead of time.
Yeah. Well, Andrea, totally. But again, like it's a case of the problem with the supervillain campaign is it is by nature going to end up being somewhat episodic, for the simple reason that the pace is what's going to happen is going to be dictated by the players.
Yes.
And so if there's going to be...
That's the roughest part about it, honestly, is for the GM, because they need to be on the ball all the time, ready with answers for all that shit.
Now, I mean, yeah, a group of D-list villains working up their street cred's fine, but that's, again, the players are going to have to decide what they're what are we going... Unless you're playing a henchman campaign, which is an entirely different animal.
It's an entirely different thing, and actually, that sounds awesome, not going to lie.
Like, if you wanted to play a campaign where you were all like, D-list supervillains who are working for an A-list villain, and send them out to do stuff, that would be a more directed campaign. But that's, and the players may come up with their own plans as they're going along because of that. It's like, almost certainly one of the players will have a plan to overthrow, Lord Humongous.
Sure.
And then they will rule Bartertown.
Mediocre. As long as we're mixing our Mad Max references here.
I was intending to. I very explicitly wanted to make sure I was combining as many things as possible. I just couldn't think of anything.
I remember the Knight Rider.
I couldn't remember much from Mad Max itself. Oh no,
it's
the Road
most
Warrior.
Forgettable of them, honestly.
It's the Road Warrior is the first one, right?
No,
Mad Max.
Road Warrior is the second one. Mad Max is the first one. Then you have the Road Warrior. Then Beyond Thunderdome. Then Fury Road.
Yes.
I think technically Fury Road happens between Road Warrior and Thunderdome, but no one cares.
It doesn't matter.
It really does not matter at all.
But yeah, this is the sort of thing that you could. These are sort of ways you could do it. It's as I said, it's going to be a lot of work for the game master in general. Just because, by the nature that villains are active, heroes are reactive. It's a lot easier for the game master to, here is what is happening. Well, how do the players react to it, as opposed to what are the players instigating, and then I have to react to it.
Yep.
And the reason that's a problem is more difficult for the game master is they have a lot more stuff they have to react with.
Yes.
Like, the city. But yeah. So I'm really not sure how much more I could. My problem is it is such a style of campaign that is not as good an improv GM as I can be. I'm not sure how well I would actually be. I'm not sure how well I'd be able to game master that sort of game. I think I would probably end up being a little bit too unfortunately effective for the for the forces of good. And it might end up being somewhat unsatisfying for the villains.
That is in itself kind of funny and fun. Just like realize the slow dawning realization. Oh my God, we're 1980s Saturday morning cartoon villains.
Yeah. For the right group, that'd be kind of good, but that might be fine. But for the wrong group,
like the one Shadowrun campaign I was in, where I purposely made a sort of anime protagonist pastiche, and his slow dawning realization that he was in fact in an anime. Oh my God, I'm a school teacher for a day job, and I hunt monsters with a sword in a world with guns and cyborgs. Oh my God, I'm an anime character.
Yeah. At any rate, the other topic that was suggested that we wanted to talk a little bit about was Bart Team asked whether we could work through how to run a campaign where the villain is a classic marauding Dark Lord without it being one big ball of tropes.
Well, the thing is, the Marauding Dark Lord is himself a trope.
Well, yeah.
This is not necessarily a bad thing.
No, tropes like cliches are not inherently bad. They become tropes or cliches for a reason. Usually. Now, some tropes are terrible. They're tropes because they keep happening and are stupid.
Yeah.
And that's true for cliches too, to a degree, but a bit less so. I mean, basically, but at any rate, Marauding Dark Lord, but without being too tropey. Okay. Well, we actually kind of touched on that during the campaign brainstorming thing last week.
I was thinking the exact same thing. Like, he's actually the good guy.
The Marauding Dark Lord is they're going around conquering everything because they are trying to save the world.
Yes.
And they are legitimately trying to save the world. And their reputation is far worse than it should be. It's all based on propaganda by the villains that they have conquered.
Like, take for example your classic fantasy Dark Lord with like his legions of undead and orcs and goblins and all these other like evil nasty races.
Yep.
Like, what it boils down to is like, these orcs and goblins are actually much better off with him and fight for him willingly because he gives them opportunities no one else will allow.
Yes.
The undead are all completely unwilled, or like non-willed, and are used as shock troops to preserve the lives of his precious soldiers. Like that kind of thing.
Yep.
And once you get deep enough within his territory, far enough from the front lines, things are actively good and egalitarian and kind of awesome.
But yes, he is actually, giving the goblinoid races a direction and purpose and a reason to operate in a more constructive way while channeling their aggressive energies in a direction.
And more of that, just giving them the opportunity to do
that
so.
too. That too. I mean, it's obviously that too. But I'm just I'm adding in that sort of, see, yes, they are known for being aggressive raider things. Yes, so his initial plan is, let's channel this in a constructive way. Also, and by doing so, I'm giving them opportunities to prove they are more than that. Which
is awesome. I think it's a good way to do it.
You could
also just do the accidental Dark Lord. I'm thinking the first couple seasons of Overlord here, where he's like, oh wait, holy shit, I've been taking over the world the whole time. When did that happen?
Yeah. But yeah, I like the idea of so you get into like the actual core territories, and you realize that a large chunk of the city watch are orcs, and they're incredibly fair, pragmatic, and good at their jobs, and everyone seems to trust them,
and weirdly incorruptible.
Yeah.
Because the last thing they want to do is to prove all the stereotypes right. Besides, most people that would try to bribe them are the kind of assholes that would shit on them in the first place. So fuck those guys.
Right. The formerly corrupt nobility has had it beat into their heads, literally beat into their heads. That there are things there are behaviors that are not acceptable.
Yeah, because there's goblin secret police now. The goblins find out you've been doing shit, it will never reach the courts. You'll just disappear.
I mean, yeah, sure, you could do. That's one way to handle it. I mean, the other thing is there could be courts and they could be scrupulously fair.
Yes. Yeah, God help you. If you're found guilty of that shit, of going wrong, though.
Oh yeah. Oh no.
Like,
as I said, it's been literally beaten into the nobility's heads.
Yes.
See. Oh. Okay, so when they said they will not, when the Dark Lord said that he would brook no transgression of his laws, he really meant it. Okay.
All right then. And there's freedom of religion in there, which is unheard of in most fantasy worlds.
Yep.
It's like, yeah, sure. You worship whatever weird god or demon or outsider entity you want to, as long as it doesn't impinge upon other people's rights and doesn't disrupt any of the established laws. Go right ahead. You want to worship Cthulhu, cool, but keep the human sacrifice to non-existent, or at least symbolic.
Please refrain from actually summoning Shoggoths, or we will have to, or we will have to. You will have to face.
When summoning Shoggoths, make sure that they are properly contained and dismissed after they've served their purpose. Failure to do so will result in a fine if you're very lucky. But yeah, that's like that was what immediately like struck out for me for doing the new Dark a reimagined Dark Lord.
Yeah,
he's the Dark Lord, but he like walks the walk, he talks the talk. He's got like the conquering legions and whatnot of spooky badness, but like he's actually pretty damn fair-minded and a good guy once you get away from the front lines. He's just pragmatic to the point of terrifying when it comes to the actual fighting.
Part of his bad reputation is he's just so effective.
Yes. And he's using traditionally evil troops like orcs, goblins, ogres, skeletons, whatnot. I actually really like the idea of like logistics being like a necromancer, because he's a wizard, so he has to be smart, so he's good at that, and skeletons are free. And using skeletons means preserving your more important troops, the guys who, with lives and families back home.
Yep. Summoning the dead for sexual purposes except with express written permission is forbidden. Yeah.
Yes. Well, summoning the dead without express written permission.
Period.
Exceptions include might include like those executed for certain crimes. Like it might be part of their sentence. Like and your corpse will be resurrected to serve on the lines, something like that, or that kind of stuff.
Oh. I actually kind of like the idea the only sentient undead are literally those who've been found guilty of extreme crimes.
Yes.
And their sentence is to serve the state as sort of somewhat more powerful undead, but without their ability to disobey completely removed magically, basically being under powerful geases.
Yeah. Yeah, so you end up with like white shock troopers who were like sapient traffickers or like serial murderers.
Right.
It's like, nope, sorry, dude, you don't get to say no, and no, you don't get to commit any war crimes because we've got your literal soul in a box. You were so heinous, we brought you back to serve the state. And of course, the Dark Lord himself, being so scrupulous, is to prevent this from being corrupted in such a way that suddenly everything's a crime worthy of such things.
Yes, he's made sure to say, yeah, no, we are not doing this. I have written a constitution to get around that. We operate under the rule of law here.
Or even like the Dark Lord is himself immortal in some way, and that like maybe he's a banished demon or a lich or something.
Yeah, something along those lines. I can see that too.
Or has a cursed ring of regeneration. Not that I didn't encounter that with my Viking berserker.
And Bartier mentions that if the protection extends to enemy troops, that would be weird. Here's the thing: I could see them not. I could see them. Again, they would not turn them into sentient undead.
Right.
I could see them giving them proper burial rituals and such, and then using the corpses as raw materials. This would be ooky and unfortunate, and people would be like, eh.
And it would certainly lend to the whole, dude, what the fuck? Clearly an evil Dark Lord.
Right. But no, I made sure that he was buried, and the appropriate rites for his religion were followed, so his soul has gone on to the appropriate afterlife.
All that's left is a corpse. Nobody cares about the corpse. At least no one in my empire. It's just meat and bone. Valuable resources for the effort. I think that would also be an interesting thing, like that the idea of bodily autonomy after death being not a thing in this empire. So that's another thing that really ooks people out.
Yeah, sure.
Not that I personally wouldn't necessarily agree with that, but I want to make that clear. I am not advocating digging up corpses and doing things with them.
Yeah.
I do agree and understand bodily autonomy up to and including death.
But things like that. There are a few other things that you could do that would be, very accommodating to people who surrender to him.
Yep. Oh no, you're treated exceedingly well if you surrender. Because now he doesn't have to spend all that time garrisoning, like the degree like you freed up a whole bunch of time and resources that add up by your surrendering that I no longer have to dedicate to grinding you under my heel. Awesome. Welcome to full citizenship. Don't fuck it up.
Here are the rules. We are very serious about them. No. You don't. I want to be clear. We are very serious about the rules. They apply to my people too. Yes, even the nobility.
Especially the nobility.
If you follow the rules, everything's hunky-dory. But we do not tolerate breaking. There are rules which we are willing to sort of be a little bit flexible with. The minor petty crimes.
Especially in the cases of extreme poverty, like we're okay with that.
We will not punish you severely for that. Like if you are committing petty theft because you have no money and need to feed your family, we'll find some work for you. There's plenty somewhere in the empire. We'll make sure that you and your family
No, we
have
can't
enough.
condone. No, understand. We can't condone such things. So you'll be like forced to work for the state. That does not mean your family will go hungry as a result.
Because that would be defeating the whole purpose. That would be stupid. All right, and why are you so poor? Like, why? Oh, it's that asshole's fault. Well, wait, is he breaking any rules here? Yes, he is. He's breaking that important rule there.
Guess what? His profits are forfeit. They belong to you now.
What? but what?
But yeah, the Dark Lord that's actually a really good guy is like the like initial thought.
Yeah, and that is
the one we've decided to run with.
It's different, and it is, you know, it. And you know the players would, there's good reason why the players would oppose him early on. Like, it looks, he has gone, like, you know, he and his armies have mowed through a chunk of the continent like a thunderbolt. And you know he's got these legions of orcs and goblins and ogres and trolls and undead, you know, skeletons and zombies that march at the front of his forces. And you know, using dark magics and such.
When he takes the field, it's in like heavy black armor with like a 1,000 terrifying legionaries by his side, and yeah, he totally fits what everyone would imagine that a Dark Lord would look like.
And it turns out he's actually, like, you know, an immortal undead of some sort, or banished. I kind of like the banished demon lord, honestly. Who's been banished from the demonic realms for not being an asshole.
Listen, Bob, we've been restructuring. We just don't have a place for the god of not being a dick. What do you mean? It's just we're shutting down your department to the prime material plane with you. Fuck.
Actually, I like the idea of he's a demon lord who ended up in a conversation with some random monk. who actually through like over the course of like a decade, which is like no time to the demon lord,
right?
Like over the course of like decades has, like, you know, actually talked him around to, like, you know, to you know actually being a moral being. And is now looking at who now looks at the world as a whole and goes, yeah, this is all fucked. I can fix this.
Clearly I could do it better. Clearly I should do it better.
I can fix this because my people are assholes. And oh my god, you freaking mortals are completely screwing up your god's mantras. Well, some of them. Screw you, Zeus. You're as bad as some of the people I used to work for. Yeah. Oh, God's a Zen demon lord. Why do I get shades of Danny Rand? As long as it's not the Netflix Danny Rand, sure.
Oh, Jesus Christ. The Zen, yeah. Oh, dear. Oh, dear God. I really hated Iron Fist.
It was not a good show. I can't say that it was not a good show. The first episode was so bad I couldn't finish it.
I got halfway through the second episode before I decided I did not want to punch my screen every time he showed up on there. My God, I hated Danny Rand. He was just so... He's that one trust fund baby that spent like a year backpacking across like China or Japan or whatnot, and will stop talking about it and how awesomely enlightened he is now, and you guys just need to go with the zen of things. You know, money doesn't matter. Why are you so stressed out? Because I can't make rent, Danny. That's why I'm so stressed out. Not that I haven't had personal experience with such people.
So yeah, actually I think it's actually kind of an amusing idea for it's an amusing idea. This is the whole I don't know why I thought of the idea of a bored demon lord stumbles across a monk sitting under a tree. Aha! I'm going to totally corrupt this monk. Bah! Wait, that's actually a really good point. Huh. So what is like? What do you want? A conversation? What?
What do you want? Who are you? Never ask me that.
But it's like, he sits down. It's like, what do you want, monk? I will give you anything.
That's an interesting question, and one that I don't think that I've fully come to the conclusion of. What do you want?
What?
I think I might find what I want if I help you find what you want. What?
Oh God. Lucifer stumbles across the Buddha. Oh my God. But yeah, no, it's an interesting idea. And I'm sure there are other ways to sort of, some other ways to do sort of the marauding, dark overlord type that's not quite as tropey.
I mean, you could always do the marauding dark overlord is in fact an angel and stupendously evil. Like this divine being is in fact stupendously evil and is unaware of its own evil.
Yeah. I mean, there's a bunch of different ways you can go. I mean, like, what we're describing is, what we described there was, one thing. And just because it's a bit tropey doesn't mean, it's inherently bad. Like, so, I mean, what are sort of the typical tropes of the marauding dark overlord is the thing. Is, which other ones can we break and do something interesting with is the question.
So he's actually a good guy. We could also do the he's actually like a divine being, and his big dark legions aren't dark and spooky at all. They're all knights in shining armor and with wings of light and all this other stuff, and it's just terrifying when they descend upon you because they don't care. They are freeing you from this mortal coil. Although that's considerably more disturbing, honestly.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean it's not a good idea.
You're right.
I think that another possibility would be. So what if you have sort of the marauding sort of dark lord who is motivated purely by personal power and is out to conquer the world, and basically do all this stuff purely for personal gain, right?
Okay.
But it turns out that this is actually important that he does this as a way of stop. It turns out this is his actual what he's doing is keeping another greater evil in check.
Sure. The old two big bad guys.
But the thing is, he's not aware that he is.
Sure.
He doesn't know this exists.
Oh, sure. Yeah, like the things he's hitting. He's unbeknownst to him being steered towards certain places of power that should they activate, worse things wake up.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, he is being steered. He is being guided by something to that is trying to preserve the world from being eaten by Cthulhu or something.
Sure. I am reminded of several stories from Old 40K that involved the Eldar steering both the Imperium and the Orcs towards and away from certain worlds that would wake up Necrons. This is before the Necrons were a thing. They were just something hinted at way in the background.
Right.
Like, oh god, the humans are on that planet and are digging. Quick, sick the orcs on them.
Right.
Or, oh god, the orcs on that planet and they're doing some digging. Quick, sick the humans on them.
Right. The other sort of thing is that you have the classic, in almost every way he is the classic Dark Overlord rampaging around conquering everything, except he is entirely clad in the imagery and sort of tropes of the crusading holy saviors of the world.
Yes. Yeah, sort of like what I was saying before. Like he's the bright mirror polished armor and like the
yes. But like he is supported
almost literal halo and
but he is he has these divine. He's supported by his troops are his elite troops are paladins of some order. Honestly, Menoth.
Yeah.
Just occurred to me.
Oh yeah, like the Protectorate of Menoth, like and Severius are totally like that trope, already done and done well.
Yep. No, they're here to save the world, and they will cleanse it with fire if need be.
Yeah, complete with paladins that like are actually trying to do the right thing, and it's kind of annoying because they actually have enough political clout to be able to do so. Fucking paladins.
So yeah, the deity that the patron deity of this empire is not good, but there are good people who follow him.
Sure, like a god of law and order.
Yes,
and like right and wrong do not factor into it. It is law or not law.
Right, lawful neutral.
Yep.
And the most rigid example of that. So, the leadership are all lawful evil. But, they've got, some of their...
Because, of course, the lawful evil guys are rise to the top. They're the biggest dicks. They know how to manipulate the system to end up in charge.
Exactly.
Like, that's how you end up with sociopaths being CEOs, which is a documented case.
They, additionally, their PR is good. They do specifically target things that are bad and dark and evil and burn them to the ground.
Yep.
If they come across the undead, a vampire lord,
necromancers,
a covenant. Right.
Yeah. They make very public examples of them.
They will they will detour out of their conquest paths to squash a coven of necromancers. Like, I'm this necromancer and I'm raising the armies of the dead, and oh god, why did they deviate from their plan? They were going to go conquer that important city. That was actually strategically important for them. Why are they, oh my god, we're all on fire. Why? This was politically stupid of you. You must be destroyed. You are an anathema. Oh.
Sorry, necromancy is illegal. According to who? Us.
According to our Lord and according to the creator to our creator. It is in our holy texts. And there is
no an affront to the natural order of things. But clearly it's not. If I'm doing it, how could it be unnatural if I'm actually... Oh god, why the fire? Do not ask questions. Questions are illegal.
Good question. This is a bad question.
Oh, what is that from?
It's from the Jammer's source book for Feng
That's
Shui.
Right, yes.
Good question. This is a very bad question. So yeah, I think that's another sort of very different take on the Marauding Dark Lord, because in some ways they're not in the wrong. They are manifestly following a deity of law and order.
They are putting down dark and dangerous things that are a threat to innocent people.
There are paladins who work for them.
I mean, they are also often a threat to good and innocent people, but that's beside the point.
And their society is probably very rigid and stratified.
Yep. Almost certainly some kind of caste system.
Mm-hmm.
With, of course, a priesthood at the top.
Well, of
obviously.
course. Of course it's a theocracy, Eric. Because of course it is.
Because of course it is.
So I hope that those give you some examples of different styles of Marauding Dark Lords that would not fall under the classic tropes. I'm actually genuinely intrigued by the first one, to be completely honest. I really dig that one.
I dig that one also.
I mean, the second one, I mean, I like all of them, honestly. They're all different and neat. But the first and the last one are the two most interesting, I think, that we came up with. I mean, partially because the last one we came up with when we didn't really come up with it.
Yeah. And it's like, oh yeah, I remember like stories about those guys. Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, that's this is the Protector of Menoth. Right. Okay. Yeah. Oh, Iron Kingdoms. A setting with very few good guys and a lot of bad guys.
The good guys tend to be individuals.
As a general rule of thumb.
Yeah.
Well, the leader of one of the kingdoms is actually somewhat decent, or was for a while. I don't know.
Sure. Yeah.
I don't know if Leto's still in charge of Signar.
I think Leto's still in charge of Sigmar. I'm not sure though.
He was a decent guy.
Yeah, he was a good guy.
For a monarch, he was actually not bad.
Both Haley and Vlad were good people.
Yes. As was Kane, actually, despite being an asshole. Kane was an asshole, but a good guy.
Coleman kind of waffled back and forth depending on which era you were in.
Yeah, well, yeah, he had a bit of a Darth Vader period.
Yeah, he had his all edgelordy like goth period. You know, we've all been there.
And then someone told him to pull his head out of his ass. Would you stop moping? What? I'm not moping. Really, Coleman?
Really, Coleman? Seriously? You are totally moping. You are moping so much.
So get your head out of your ass and help the people. All right!
Oh, so I'm not supposed to be sticking them in concentration camps? No! What made you think that was a good idea? Were you talking to Erusk again?
No. I wasn't talking to him. Just seeing that it was actually seemed to be fairly effective for them. God damn it, Coleman.
Iron Kingdoms, I love you.
But yeah, I like the fact that for the three major human factions, you know, none of them are inherently good, but none of them are inherently evil either. Well, no, the Protector of Menoth is evil.
The Protector of Menoth.
The nation is evil.
The nation is evil. Its leadership is unrepentantly evil. It has good people in it, and even good organizations working to do good.
Yeah. Trying desperately to blunt the awfulness that is the theocracy.
Yep. And they've got nothing on Crix.
Oh, no, but that's sort of the point.
That's sort of the point.
You know, Khador is mostly just hyper pragmatic, mostly
hyper pragmatic and imperialistic.
Yeah, with some very good people, and then the Butcher,
yes,
and Irisk.
And then you've got the Butcher, who desperately wants to be a good guy, but realizes that his badness prevents it, and sort of leans into it as a result. At least I can do good for the country. As long as someone points me in the right direction, please point me in the right direction.
Please. And then there's Irisk.
Who is pragmatic to the point of evil.
Yeah.
And then you've got the old witch, who is Baba Yaga and tells you everything you need to know about her.
Yep. But you've got Vlad and
you have Vlad. Sorsha's not a good person.
She's the one who really wants to be.
Vlad's never around.
Vlad's her external conscience is the problem.
Yes, it's exactly what it is. Vlad is her external conscience, but Vlad's never around.
And when Vlad's around, she goes, "Oh right, stop! Don't be evil.
Stop doing that. Right, that is not the right thing to do."
Right. Got you.
Once Vlad's gone, she starts remembering all the bad shit that's happened to her. It's like, you know what? I'm just gonna fucking keep that from happening again by killing everything.
And then Vlad wanders back into Sorsha, what did I say about killing everything?
Oh, right. Sorry. Yep. We have someone for that.
We don't need another Butcher.
Sorry, I forgot we had someone for that. I got so angry. We got someone for being really angry too. He's a paraplegic stapled to his steam engine. He's the angriest man in the world. Let him handle that.
But I'm so angry.
You're not as angry as Karchev. No one's as angry as Karchev.
But. Oh. And don't try to lead into the brutally pragmatic thing. That's what we have Irisk for. What can I do? Be a moderating force.
Okay, you say so, Snooki.
Why?
I have to say, like the entire of the Khador lineup is it's a fucking soap opera.
It really is.
And I love it for that.
All right. I think we've mined the topic for as much as we're going to get tonight.
Yeah, I think we're good today.
So I think we'll wrap things up. Normally we save time at the end of each episode for viewer questions. We don't actually have any this week, so... Also, if we did them, we'd run a bit longer, but whatever. But if you do have questions you'd like us to answer in the show, or if you've got show topic suggestions you'd like us, things we'd like us to cover on the show, talk about for an entire episode, or just if you got feedback for us, ways we can make the show better, please send all of that shit to us.
Absolutely.
Because we love all of that crap. It's not crap, it's good stuff. We want it. Our email address is surlygrognards@yahoo.com, surlygrognards@yahoo.com. Or you can post in the comment section on YouTube, or I guess you could tweet them at me. My Twitter handle is @MechaGM. If you've got... I actually already covered that, didn't I? But yeah, questions, show topic suggestions, feedback, all that good shit. We want it. As I mentioned last week, if you listen to the last campaign building thing and you've got some ideas for things to do in that setting, or things to add to the setting or stuff like that, we'd love to get that stuff because we'd like to do an episodes where we at least spend some of the episode talking about that stuff. We've gotten a couple of things, but we'd like to have a few more so we actually have dedicated an actual chunk of an episode to it. And if we're gonna do it, we'll do it next week. So you got a week to get it in. Same places. Email us, YouTube comments, Twitter, whatever. And if that's all that stuff. We record the show Tuesday evenings, usually starting sometime around 7 to 7:30 p.m. here on twitch.tv/MechaGM. That's Eastern time. And I tweet out when the show is going to be going live. My Twitter handle, as I mentioned before, is @MechaGM, so follow me there if you want to know when the show is going live or when I'm streaming, whatever. Yeah, that's about it, I think. I think it's the spiel.
That's the
end of show spiel, right?
It's as I remember it.
Good, excellent. So that's going to do it for this week, folks. Thank you so much for watching. We hope you enjoyed the show. And we will be back probably next week. Actually, we will not be done with the next show for 3-minute anime next week.
We're not done with the next 3-minute anime.
So yeah. Anyways, that's gonna do it for this week, guys. Thank you so much for listening, and thanks for hanging out with us. Take care, everybody. Have a great rest of your week.
Bye, humans.